Hi everybody, Mr. Graham here, and you're going to learn some science today. Recently, Mr. Raymond posted a great video on his site about the top 10 reasons why the American Gold Rush was so awesome. And today, in response to that, to integrate some science, we're going to learn about the top 5 American inventions from 1840 to 1850. Number 5, hand crank ice cream maker. Before the 1840s, if you wanted ice cream, you pretty much had to go to the store. And one woman in New England named Nancy Johnson in 1843 said, "Enough of that, I'm going to make it at home." So she created a ice cream maker you could use at home using good old-fashioned American muscle. The tricky part about making ice cream is that you want it to be cold enough to become a solid, but you don't want it so cold that it freezes into a block or has ice shard throughout it, because that's just really unappealing to eat. And she decided that by cranking this, like almost like a butter churn, she could keep those particles separate just enough so they could still form into a solid. She wasn't able to make this into a commercial success. She didn't have the means to do so. But later on, she sold this design to a Philadelphia company who then produced this for home use. Number 4, baseball. Although before the 1840s, different forms of baseball were played around the country, in 1845, the official rules of baseball were written down in a form called, a letter or a booklet called the Knickerbocker Rules, which is a really fun word to say. Those rules were adopted as the official rules of baseball, and so the official rules of baseball were adopted in 1845. Number 3, the printing telegraph. Before the days of text messages and emails and FaceTime and Google Meets, people sent ideas back and forth across wires through a series of clicks and dashes and sounds. Somebody had to sit at the telegraph machine to listen to the sounds, interpret them, write them down, and then if you were there, you could tell them what you wanted to send back to that person. So although it was much faster than riding on horseback from one place to the other, it did take a little bit of time, and somebody had to be there. But with this machine, somebody could send a message, and the machine could be written down as it's being interpreted by this machine on this paper tape there. Number 2, the jackhammer. Because moving earth with a hammer is not as much fun as it sounds. So the jackhammer here is a pneumatic device. That means it's powered with air, and it has a chisel on the end that reciprocates back and forth and back and forth. There were forms of jackhammers before 1840, but most of the chisels had a rotating force to them, and this one reciprocated back and forth and back and forth. Modern jackhammers are operated by pneumatics still or by electric motors. This device would be coming really handy in states that had a lot of coal mines, like, I don't know, Pennsylvania. And number 1, gas masks. Gas masks are simply used to filter out the bad air so you breathe in good air. I always thought that they were invented during World War I, but I was wrong. They were invented in the 1840s. About 70 years after their conception, after their invention, they were used during the American Spanish flu epidemic. Because there was no internet back then, in some places, school children still had to go to school. And when they came to school, they were required. That means they had to wear a gas mask every day. And to help kids remember, younger kids, remember to wear the gas mask, they came up with posters like this one that says, "Coughs and sneezes spread diseases." Teachers back then reported that with everybody wearing gas masks, it was kind of hard to distinguish who was who in the class because everybody tended to look the same. I know if I lived back then and Mr. Raymond and I were in school together, I would definitely blame everything I did on him. Who am I kidding? I do that now anyway. Thanks for watching, guys.